Good morning, students. In the previous class, we have discussed about the introductory part of the biomolecules regarding the chemical analysis of organic compounds. There we have discussed that we have taken a leaf tissue which was grinded in a mortar and pestle within the solvent which was trichloroacetic acid, as we have obtained a thick slurry and which was to be filtered with the help of a cheesecloth or cotton cloth. So we have observed that the part which has passed through the cheesecloth or cotton cloth was called as filtrate, and we may call it as acid soluble substance, whereas the part which was not passed or which was present above the cheesecloth or cotton cloth was called as retentate. So this may be the acid insoluble fraction. We have also discussed that the acid soluble fraction would contain micromolecules which would may have containing the monomer units like the amino acids, glucose, fructose, fatty acids, glycerol, etc. Whereas the retentate, in which macromolecules are present, they are having the polymers. Means they are the polymers of these monomer units. For example, within the macromolecules, the substances would be present like protein, carbohydrates, the polysaccharides, like so on, lipids, nucleotides, etc. There we have also discussed the differences between the micromolecule and macromolecule, that the weight of the micromolecule was to be ranging from 18 to 800 Daltons, whereas in the case of macromolecules the weight was above 1000 Daltons. We have discussed that the lipids which were present to be found in the retentate category. So obviously they were categorized as in the case of macromolecules, but their molecular weight, their range is below 800 Daltons. So why? The lipids, they are to be found or present within the macromolecular category. The reason we have discussed the micelles particles, the region of the polar head region and the non-polar tail region. The polar region, they are the hydrophilic region, whereas the non-polar, which is the hydrophobic region. So due to presence of these non-polar hydrophobic regions, they were shown to be not dissolved in the acid soluble fraction. So obviously they are to be found within the macromolecular category or in the part of retentate. Today we'll discuss about the carbohydrates. So the carbohydrates, earlier it was considered to be hydrated carbon, as carbohydrate is an organic compound which was considered to be an organic compound having hydrogen and oxygen in the same ratio as it is contained in water, that is 2:1. So it was represented by the general formula CnH2O whole n. But later on, many of the facts and it failed to express certain facts. For example, the lactic acid do we observe, which is having the formula C3H6O3. If we go for that, we may observe it is having the same formula as to the, we can say, of hydrated carbon. But this lactic acid is not an carbohydrate, as well as acetic acid. We may count again the number of carbon atoms within it is 2, hydrogen atoms 3 plus 1 4, and oxygen atoms 2. Again it fits to the same formula, CnS2O to the power n. So that again it proves that it cannot be the formula for the carbohydrate, as this acetic acid is also not a carbohydrate. So later on, a precise definition of the carbohydrates was put forwarded, which states that carbohydrate is an polyhydroxyaldehyde or polyhydroxyketones and large molecules that produces these compounds on hydrolysis. For example, we may go through by citing the example of two simplest carbohydrates which contains 3 carbon atoms, that is glyceraldehyde whereas the another compound which is dihydroxyketone. If we go for the molecular formula, we may observe the formula is C3H12345 C3H6O3, whereas the dihydroxyacetone is also having the same formula C3H6O3. But the case do we may observe this is called as polyhydroxyaldehyde, whereas this compound is called as polyhydroxyketone. As do we may observe, this compound is having the aldehydic group, whereas in this case do we may observe the compound is having the ketonic group. So obviously we may define the carbohydrates as an polyhydroxyaldehydes or polyhydroxyketones and large molecules which produce these compounds upon hydrolysis. As do we know, the carbohydrates, they are present in all life forms, whether microorganisms, plants or animals, in which they perform the different functions. Like the carbohydrates, they serves as the chief source of energy for a smooth going of all the essential biological activities. Do we know? By the oxidation of 1 gram of carbohydrates, it releases around about 4.1 calorie of energy, whereas carbohydrates, they also participate in the structure such as cellulose, chitin, etc. So do we have discussed that the carbohydrates, they play an important role in the formation of cell wall in plants. As we know, the cell wall, they are made up of cellulose, whereas do we also have discussed in the case of fungal cell wall, they are made up of chitin. That is also a type of carbohydrates. Now we'll discuss about the classification of carbohydrates. So carbohydrates, they can be classified into various categories. The first we may have to discuss regarding through the extent of hydrolysis. Means the carbohydrates, they are divided into three major groups depending on the number of simple sugars present within the molecule. In other words, we may say the basis of classification of carbohydrates will be the number of simple sugar molecules produced on hydrolysis. So, the molecules so obtained may be of the same or different sugars. For example, the first category, they are monosaccharides. As do the structural unit of the carbohydrates is saccharide. So, as the saccharide word has been derived from the Greek word saccharum, which means sugar. So, depending upon the sugar units, or we may say upon the extent of the hydrolysis, the carbohydrates, they are categorized into three categories. The first, which are monosaccharides, are also called as simple sugars. Why they are called simple sugars? Because these are single unit of carbohydrates, or we may say polyhydroxyaldehydes or polyhydroxyketones, which cannot be broken down into simpler carbohydrates upon hydrolysis. For example, glucose, the formula C6H12O6, it cannot be further hydrolyzed whenever water is added to it. So mean to say, this glucose or fructose, which is C6H12O6, by going through the process of hydrolysis, it cannot be broken down into, we can say, much into simpler form. So we can say this is the simplest form of carbohydrates, which are called as simple sugars. Whereas the second category, which are called as oligosaccharides, means oligosaccharides, they are made up of 2 to 10 units of monosaccharides. So oligosaccharides, they are made up of 2 to 10 units of monosaccharides or simple sugars. So mean to say, for example, suppose sucrose, which is C12H22O11, upon hydrolysis, it yields one molecule of glucose plus one molecule of fructose. So we may observe that the oligosaccharides, they are made up of 2 to 10 units of monosaccharides, and when they are hydrolyzed, they may yield into that number of monosaccharide units. So oligosaccharides, if they contain two monosaccharides, for example, this sucrose, it contains two monosaccharides, one molecule of glucose and one molecule of fructose, then this sugar, this oligosaccharide, would be called as disaccharide. Whereas those containing 3 units of simple sugars. They are called as trisaccharides, whereas those containing 4 units of monosaccharides, they are called as tetrasaccharides. For example, raffinose, which is a trisaccharide, which upon hydrolysis it yields 1 molecule of glucose, 1 molecule of fructose and 1 molecule of galactose. Now, the third category, which is polysaccharides. So, as do the word means, poly means more than, we have to consider more than 10 units. So means they contain more than 10 monosaccharide units. So the polysaccharides, they are made up of more than 10 monosaccharide units in the, we can say, molecule. So thus one molecule of, for example, starch So thus one molecule of starch, which is a chain, or we can say a long chain of glucose units, which upon hydrolysis it yields a number of glucose units. So they are called as polysaccharides. As the monosaccharides and oligosaccharides are soluble crystalline substances having a sweet taste, so they are collectively called as sugars. Means monosaccharides plus oligosaccharides, they are collectively called as sugars, whereas polysaccharides, on the other hand, they are insoluble amorphous substances and they are called as non-sugars. So we may also observe the taste of the monosaccharides. We may feel the taste like glucose, the table sugar, or like that. So the fructose, the honey sugar, the lactose, the milk sugar, they taste sweet. Likewise, the oligosaccharides, for example, sucrose, they also taste sweet. But on the other hand, the polysaccharides, for example, the starch or the cellulose, they do not taste sweet, means they are non-sugars. So, as we may also say, the polysaccharides, they are not sweet in taste. Now, the second criteria for the classification of carbohydrates is according to the basis of reducing or non-reducing sugars. The first category is called as reducing sugars. Means when the sugar have a free aldehyde group or free ketonic group, then the sugar is said to be as reducing sugar, because due to presence of this free aldehydic or free ketonic group, it can reduce the cupric ions of Benedict's or failing solution into cuprous ions. Whereas on the other hand, when the sugar has no free aldehyde or no free ketonic group, then the sugar is called to be as non-reducing sugar. So, for example, all monosaccharides plus most of the disaccharides are reducing sugars. For example, in the case of sucrose, which is a disaccharide and which is made up of 1 unit of glucose plus 1 unit of fructose. As we know, glucose it is having an aldehyde group, whereas the fructose, which is having a keto group. In the case of sucrose, both these groups, they are bonded together. Means they are not having any free carbonyl group. So, as they are not having any free carbonyl group, they are not able to reduce the failing solution or Benedict's reagent. So, they are called as non-reducing sugars. Whereas in the case of reducing sugars, they are having free carbonyl group, maybe in the form of free aldehyde group or free ketonic group, then the sugar is called as reducing sugar. So all the monosaccharides, they are reducing sugars, whereas most of the disaccharides, they also reducing sugars. But for example, this disaccharide, this is sucrose, which is non-reducing sugar, because in this case the aldehydic group of the glucose and the ketonic group of the fructose, they are bonded to each other. So due to absence of free carbonyl group, they are unable to reduce the Benedict's or Fehling's reagent. So till so far here, thank you. Have a nice day.